Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here with a very special video. Most of y'all know me as a Lily player, but before Lily's introduction to the game, I played a very special character. The one, the only Jun Kazama. I played her in Tekken 2 and Tekken Tag as well. And then obviously she wasn't in Tekken 3, 4, 5, 6. She was in Tag 2 where I played her alongside Lily. And then she wasn't in Tekken 7 and now she returns in Tekken 8. I kinda just want to talk about why she sucks like dog shit, why the community thinks she's mashy and brain dead, and how I feel about her redesign in Tekken 8. Because the way that Jun is designed educates us on the developer's goals. Her, Reina, Victor, and Azucena are their examples of what Tekken 8 is supposed to play like. The overall game philosophy, which a lot of people have been struggling to grasp, myself included, since it's so different from a lot of other Tekken games. Historically, the Kazamas have been the defensive archetype in Tekken. A lot of times compared to Street Fighter's keep-out characters, the Kazama style can keep opponents on edge with evasive tools and parries, as well as like counter-hit pokes and a lot of huge space-controlling moves. Tekken 8 has made it a point to individualize a lot of the characters in the cast, adding to their pre-established archetypes. So now more than ever, we really should be seeing Jun, Jin, and Asuka fleshed out as their own Kazama niches. Jin, of course, being an all-rounder character, Asuka being focused on pokes and Tsubakis, and Jun, I don't really know. Okay, I want to start this with the good things first. And honestly, there's going to be good and bad things layered all throughout this video, because I'm going to be kind of doing a holistic coverage of her moveset. But Jun still has a lot of depth, just in a different way than she has in Tekken 2, Tag 1, and Tag 2. So as far as things that I like, Jun has a lot of really big space control buttons that no other character has access to, and they're really fun to mess around with. This includes stuff like down 1 plus 2, down forward 3, forward 4, and sidestep 4. Of course, as traditional to Kazama's, her full crouch game is really actually crazy and insane. She has a bunch of cool transitions to get into it to figure out her opponent. Of course, full crouch 1 plus 2, mix out with your full crouch down forward 2, and you still have things like down back 2, as well as a lot of counter hit interactions with her full crouch. There's a lot of interesting things going on. Okay, like I said, I will talk about a few more things that I like throughout the video. But those are really the main things that I enjoy. Of course, she still is herself, so she has stuff like her forward 2, can, 1 plus 4, you know, the traditional Kazama stuff that we're used to her having. But now I want to talk about some of the more problematic aspects of the character. Alright, some of these points are going to be me reaching out to the community because I have not been playing this character as much as I've been playing Lily and other characters, because I didn't like the way she was initially designed. So if I say anything that's incorrect, or you could educate me in the comments, I would greatly appreciate that, because if I could have any excuse to play this character, I would take it. I just don't like the way that she currently is. Starting first with her 1-1, what the fuck is this string? So it puts her into Izuma, which is this stance, and you could obviously see these don't look similar at all. So it causes quite a bit of visual confusion for the opponent. If they haven't labbed it, they just don't know that you could do a hell sweep from this. Like, they just have no idea. And of course, lab the matchup, of course, but what other character just has like a hidden stance built into a move? It's very, very odd. So it's not only that she has a hell sweep, of course she also has a power crush, and she has her mid heat engager. So the fact that this move just conceals that is like really fucked up, and it's part of what makes people say that this character is brain dead. It's not the biggest factor, but her visual confusion with the amount of things that she can do, it ends up giving her the reputation that she's button mashy. This move is also weird because it heals her upon use. I don't really know why, and I'll have a whole section on her healing mechanic, but it just feels like an odd move to have that on. Especially because this is not a 10 frame punish, like this is not a natural combo. It has counter hit effects, which are the same as her 1-3. So it's not like one of them gives her a heat engage or anything, They both just give her extra frames to work with, and it's very odd. I wonder why they designed it like this, and why 1-1 isn't just a Punisher that she could do. Because her only good 10 frame Punisher is up forward 1, and this has a limit of range, and I'm going to talk about this more specifically. And then this is her 12 frame Punish. So I would like to see this similar to like a Lily 1-1 or an Alyssa 2-2. I know that those are different frames, but just be like a basic 10 frame Punish that you could press. It doesn't have to have the stance transition, unless that's like more visually apparent. It's just an odd move, and if you understand why it's here, please let me know. Okay, so next I want to talk about her heat. Her heat mechanic works pretty similarly to the way Yoshi does as far as her healing goes. So she can obviously, when she's out of heat, she can choose to do damage to herself by doing certain moves. And I get why these moves do damage, right? Like forward 1 plus 2 is to threaten some kind of wall running pressure that she doesn't have. Down 1 plus 2 is this really long range launcher and whiff Punisher. Up forward 1 is a very powerful 10 frame Punisher. So it makes sense why all of these moves have this property. However, like I said before, I don't get why certain moves heal her. So for example, 2 of her stances heal. Her Genjutsu stance doesn't heal for some reason, I don't know. I think it's because these 2 apply risk, right? You would think that that's why, because you can't block and one is like a high, a very slow high. However, then moves like Sidestep 2 also heal her, but this move is safe on block, it's a mid, it has great counter hit properties, it's good like a normal hit as well, and it just also heals you. So I don't understand why. Like, the exchange should be, I get something that Jun normally doesn't have access to because she's a defensive character, so you would assume it's some type of offensive utility like this move, right, or this parry. But then there's certain moves that she has that are just like really safe and really good that she heals off of for no reason. And that can make playing against her very frustrating because her combos end up having an inverse effect where you damage yourself but you're also healing because you're doing your stance transitions anyways, so you really didn't hurt yourself that much in the end. So to me, as someone who has played Jun and played against Jun, it feels like they didn't really think about what should heal and what shouldn't heal and why. Okay, this one is a brief one, but I think Jun has some guaranteed counter hit situations that are like really fucked up. So Jun has a lot of counter hit setups, but this one in particular I think is problematic. And of course they did change the scaling of the whole thing, which should have indicated to Namco like, hey, this is a bad idea, you know. I would love to see her instead just get like a free 1 plus 2 or something, the same way that Lydia and Leo get a free move for their counter hit low. Have it make more sense, have it be a little bit more homogenized instead of launch, because I think her and Asuka are the only 2 characters that get that privilege, and it's very odd. Okay, one of the biggest pain points I have heard from the community of people that don't play Jun and have to play against her is her ability to have a safe forward 2 and a safe down forward 2. Of course they have the exchange that it damages her, and that's a very important thing to take into account, but forward 2 is a crazy whiff Punisher. It is so good, and the ability to make it safe on block whenever you want is a really big privilege. The down forward 2 less so, because characters like Nina and Shaheen exist and they have safe down forward 2s, which I don't think they should have at all, but if they are going to have it, then I think it's fine for Jun to have it. It's not all good though. I do hate her down forward 2 in this game. In Tekken Tag 2, she had a very unique down forward 2 that was super fun and interesting to play with, in my opinion. I would love to see that move back, maybe reinvented as like a counter hit fishing move. It could be 16 frames because it seems like they don't want her to have a 15 frame launcher since her down forward 2 is 16 frames. That's another reason as to why you should get rid of it. Why is it 16 frames? Look at how many things she can do out of Izumo in Tag 2. Because she had so many options in that game, she felt like a much more fleshed out character. In this game, she feels like a few really good big buttons and nothing else. Izumo now only has one defensive option, the Power Crush, and it's a type of defensive option with the least amount of nuance. I don't know, this is just an example, but I think it's emblematic of the issues that I'm talking about. So in Tag 2, her down forward 2 was just a bound move, and I think on counter hit it should create a bound in the same way that like Nina's up forward 2-1 does, because it would increase combo variety and make this game a little bit more interesting. I don't understand why some characters have access to strong aerial tailspins and other characters don't, and some characters have really strong bounds like Nina and like Elisa, but other characters don't. Not saying that the whole cast should be homogenized, but I think that the game should make like more sense. You know, not every character should be the same, but they should at least be able to access the game's mechanics. Obviously with some characters able to use and abuse tools more than others. Jun has a lot of moves to keep you down and lock you down in place. The aforementioned down forward 3, forward 4, forward 3, her down forward 1 series, back 3, up forward 3, etc. She can keep you at range and often restrict your movement through her use of her homing moves. And most of these also have counter hit utility, which makes playing against it even worse. And I think her down forward 3 is the biggest offender. I want to go to the wall to demonstrate. Okay, so her other homing moves as her forward 4 and her forward 3 have clear counterplay. Her forward 3, 3+4, you can be knocked out of for a full combo and you'll be floated. And then her forward 4 is obviously a high. This is like super powerful as a tool. But it is a high, it gets ducked often, and if someone knows that you're looking for it, you will be launched. Her down forward 3, however, does not have any of these weaknesses. And it's super fast at 17 frames, and it has some counter hit utility as well. And the worst part is that it wall splats on normal hit. What the fuck? I think that either A, it should be slower at 20 to 21 frames, or it shouldn't cause a wall splat like Shaheen's. All of these factors put together have gotten her the label of a brain-dead character to people that don't play her, which is really interesting because she has always historically been a defensive character, which is known in Tekken as like a much more thought-provoking character that causes you to have to interact with your opponent much more. Of course, it's up for debate if that's true, but that's been the general sentiment. Because she has less defensive options in and out of her stances and more offensive tools. Since she still has an intrinsically defensive design, the new offensive tools make her feel really watered down, at least compared to her old designs. Basically, the lack of focus in her design causes her to feel like she's stuck between a stringy rushdown character and a defensive keep-out one. At least that's my personal interpretation. I think part of the Kazama charm is their conservative use of moves. It really only takes like 2 good Demon Slayers to take a whole round from somebody. But the ability to do that is gated by the skill of the player. With more streamlined offense in Tekken 8 in general, the TikTok-addled Jun Kazama players online are able to make it up way higher ranks to their abuse of things like 1-1, 1-2-2. So here are some more changes that I would make, some more general changes to her design philosophy to help her feel more like her original self. I would put more of a focus on her small Tekken, since that's always been where her skill is. And I would strengthen her pokes like down 2. This move is slow, of course. It's like a lot of other characters down 2s. But it is super linear. I feel like it's more linear than like Leo's, and Leo's is known for being hyper linear. Her up forward 3 and her down 4. The way I would improve her down 4 is just adding a little bit more damage. It does 10 damage. And other characters have like 14, 17, like very chunky lows that go like way further than this and are the same amount of minus. It'll be especially good because Jun players complain that they can't open people up if they turtle, which is true since she is a defensive character, and giving her a few more lows, a few more viable lows would really help her. I think moves like forward 1+2 are really cool, although I would like to see them expanded. Like obviously on counter hit you get a free 2, and that's really good, and you have like 2 days to confirm this. But that's the only thing that you can do since it gives you a plus 23. I would like to see Mirai stats have like another option, since the only thing that you could do is one of 2 options, which is 2 beams. The whole stance kind of just feels like underbaked. I don't know exactly what they were going for with it, especially because like this is way more useful than that. And if she had another option out of her parry, I think it would give Mirai stance maybe a little bit more depth. Next I would focus on her niche, which I think is poking and confusion. So she's able to establish a very like authoritarian rule over the neutral with tools like this. And then once she is able to open you up, that's when she starts doing the string mix-ups, and you have to start guessing in between stances. And she'll start introducing parries and tsubakis and stuff to throw off your offense while she's going, you know. To reward this, I would like to see her have like a low-high string. Let me explain. I know that sounds insane. I'm not talking like Hao or Lee low-high. I mean like Steve, where it's like super slow, and then once you get the high, this would be the high. Then you could get your mix-up, or you can get your, you know, your canned whatever into your confusion, and that would really like endorse the playstyle that she has historically had, and I think still has in this game. This one might be controversial, but in Tag 2, she had her Hell Sweep just out of standing. And I think that was much better utility. She was able to actually like threaten it whenever she wanted to, and it didn't feel as canned. Again, this would also help with the complaint that Jun players have about their lows. And her last two have to relate to her heat. I would make her healing more consistent, and I would have them like actually genuinely think about what I want these moves to fucking do instead of just doing shit. And I would rework her heat smash. I'm not sure into what, which is why I haven't mentioned it up to this point, but I think just something that's mid, just like Reina, to threaten like a gunshot, because that's what this is. The only thing that's fucked up about it is that you can threaten a gunshot from range 3 or 4, but that is also what makes it bad, because when your opponent is there, they just sidewalk the whole time, and then you can't do anything as the Jun player. I mean, I guess you try to hit them with these, but if they're standing like here, you can't, like, the game becomes really like reductionary for like 10 seconds, and it's really stupid. But those are my thoughts on Jun Kazama's current design. As I've played her more, especially in research for this video, I've learned to appreciate certain aspects of her old design more, and of course new aspects of her design now. She still just doesn't feel as good as she felt in Tag 2. It's a very ephemeral feeling, I understand, but I don't know, she felt a lot more defensive based, and a lot of the tools that she had made a lot more sense for what she was trying to do, and she was not great in that game, and she's not great in this game, so anyways, let me know if you think Jun needs any changes, or what I should do about my character crisis, because I really do want to like her, but damn. That's all for today. Like I've said in my last previous videos, I have a lot of fucking content planned, so I'd appreciate it if y'all could subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.